Sometimes when people learn the law of attraction, the law of vibration, it can lead to this place of really judging everything that we've created and calling it low vibe. The people that we have attracted, the home, the spaces, the places, maybe the job, everything can feel like it's just not a match to what it is that we're wanting to create. And I understand the temptation to say, I really want to step into this potential, so therefore I have to put myself in high vibe places and surround myself with high vibe people who are striving towards excellence. And if I can just be in those spaces with those people, then I can just through osmosis be swept into success right alongside them. I understand that. I've been there, and it's not entirely wrong, but it's also not entirely necessary. So here's the deal. We have the law of attraction, which maybe you've heard me say before. I don't like that it's called the law of attraction. I would much rather call it the law of awareness, because everything we need is already here. It's not that we have to attract it. It's that we're not aware of it. So if we could really open up our awareness and begin to see things differently, begin to perceive things differently, then we would see so much opportunity, so much beauty and abundance and grace and love, prosperity, all of these incredible things. So if we're learning about the laws and all of a sudden feeling like, okay, all of these things are vibrating at a low frequency and I want to vibrate at a high frequency, so therefore I have to completely do away with this life and find myself people who are exactly where I want to be, and they're doing the things that I want to do, and they're talking about the things I want to talk about. What can happen is we can pay money to be in those spaces and go to those places, and it can feel really good. But wherever we are, there we are, right? So if we're programmed to be looking through a lens of not enoughness, then we're going to take that perception into whatever space we're in. So we could be in the most beautiful, outwardly beautiful, obviously beautiful place in the world, surrounded by incredibly beautiful people that are talking about incredibly beautiful things. And yet, if we're still holding that energy of not enoughness, then that's what we're bringing into the space. So that's what we're going to see. That's what we're going to hold. That's what we're going to be aware of. And likewise, we can be in a space that perhaps looks on the surface like it's lacking. But if we're deciding to come from a view and a perception of abundance and love and beauty, then we can find all of those things right where we are. We can find the richness, the prosperity, the elegance, the opulence. We can find all of those things wherever we are. And if we decide that we are going to discipline ourselves, quick side note, discipline just means to be a student of, to be a disciple of. So if we decide I'm going to be disciplined in my pursuit, in my study of beauty and opulence and abundance, then we can find those things no matter who we're with and where we are. So if you learn the law of attraction and suddenly you're like, all of my relationships have to go, my partner is low vibe, my friends are low vibe, my boss is low vibe, my job is low vibe, my house is low vibe, everything's low vibe, then that can feel awful, right? And suddenly we're in this space of not enoughness. And it's just not true, right? We can back all of that up and say, I actually have everything here if I'm willing to become aware of all of the places where there's already beauty and grace and opulence, prosperity, love, all of those things that are already here in the room. And if I decide to be a student of those things, to be an ambassador of those things, to be a disciple of those things, then I can bring out, amplify, and express all of those things wherever I go. I can be the one that is the person to increase the awareness of those things in every space. So instead of being like, I have to go put myself in high vibe places, we can say, it's all here. It's all here available to me right now. And if I want to have conversations that are rooted in love and beauty and abundance, then I can choose to speak those words in the conversations that are already happening in these spaces. I can choose to be the one to start those conversations among my family and friends. And the thing is about vibration is if you start holding all of that, if you start having these conversations, if anytime somebody is complaining or somebody is gossiping or in any way going down a path that doesn't feel good to you, if you decide that you're going to turn that conversation around and direct it into a direction that feels more abundant and more aligned to truth, then the thing about people is some people are going to love that and they're going to feel uplifted, and other people are not going to love it and they will adapt by walking away. And that is okay. We don't actually have to go around taking people out of our lives. People will naturally self-select. They will move towards us or they will be moving themselves away from us. It doesn't have to necessarily involve a lot of drama or trauma or any big falling out. It can just be as simple as people starting to go their separate ways very naturally and gracefully. That's not to say sometimes it won't involve drama, but in my experience, it usually doesn't. The idea here is to say, I'm in spaces and places that are beautiful and opulent right now all the time. And I get to be the one to highlight that. I get to be the one to show other people that and be a beacon for that. I get to study it, seek it out, get to know it even more intimately, right? And I get to recognize all of the ways that the spaces and places I'm in are already so beautiful. I get to be in the sensation of all of that abundance and all of that beauty because it's an awareness. It's not about where I am. Wherever we go, there we are, right? So it's perfectly possible. It happens all the time where people can be in the most beautiful, luxurious, incredible spaces and in their heads still be miserable. And it's entirely possible to be in a place that doesn't look that flashy, but to be in this perception of so much gratitude and love and just receiving all of the beauty that's right there in that moment. And that can be contagious. So is it easier to be surrounded by people who are already feeling all of that? Maybe. Or maybe that just puts some of us in comparison energy. We're like, oh, I'm going to go surround myself with all of these people who already have everything I want because it's going to rub off on me. But then maybe we go to those places and then we just feel more crappy about ourselves, right? Like we're not there yet and the gap can feel heavy and overwhelming because wherever you are, there you are. So it's not so much about putting yourself in those spaces. It's about becoming the person that has that perception and that awareness no matter what space you're in. That you get to be the one that brings the radiance. You get to be the one that brings the beauty and that points it out to everyone around you. Yes, it's incredible to be in beautiful environments, but in my experience, judging everything and judging everybody just makes us feel more separation, more lack, more shame. And that's exactly what we want to move out of. We want to move into more acceptance, more compassion, more love, more forgiveness, right? So if you've been judging everything in your world as low vibe, maybe take a breath, maybe take a pause and recognize that all of these people around you, all of the things around you, there is something beautiful and brilliant about each and every one of them. And if they're truly relationships that are toxic, then that's a whole different dialogue, right? But I'm talking about the people who you love and maybe they're not moving in the direction that you want to go, but they're still decent, kind-hearted, good people who are just ignorant or confused about how much power they have. and you're starting to wake up to your power and you see the power and you're like, I got to go surround myself with people who are already awake to the power so they can help me remember my power. Yeah, that's great. And as you expand your awareness and you expand your perception, you'll naturally see more of those people around you all the time. But those people could be right in front of you. Those people likely are right in front of you. So I hope this was helpful. If you've been feeling inadequate in your relationships, in your spaces and places, and in the things and all the things, and feeling so alone, just drowning in a world of low vibe things, then just take a pause. Ask yourself if you're willing to see all of the beauty, all of the opulence, all of the love that is literally in the room with you right this moment. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.